we'll get into it. This one nails down more of the stuff that I liked about his older records, like the catchiness and the kind of straightforwardness of the old ones.
Wait, what did we get into? I thought this was just you and I having a nice private conversation. Oh, Billy's here.
This is... Hi, everybody. It's Wednesday, April 17th. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 2 of Bliss Point, a podcast and website serving up music discussion, news, show, and album reviews, and more. My name is Jordan Kaufman, and I'm joined by my lovely co-hosts, Billy Gateway.
Hello.
And Paul Cole.
Am I on the Truman Show?
Yes. Oh, wait, shit. No, we weren't supposed to tell you that. Can we go back? Can you pretend like you didn't hear that?
For you.
Okay, cool. You're not on the Truman Show. You're on the Paul Show.
That is a relief.
This is the Paul Show. And now that you know you're on your own show, we're going to get into what we've been listening to, and that encapsulates the best, worst, good, noteworthy, mediocre, important, and consequential, sometimes album-related shows, singles, and new releases of the week. And first up for shows, I forgot to ask you if you've been to anything. I don't think you have.
I don't think I have either.
Okay. We have Better Oblivion Community Center.
Heck yeah, we do.
Which is the surprise duo of Phoebe Bridgers and Connor Oberst. Billy and I saw them play at the Black Cat.
I think you're making names up.
In DC. Which one?
Second one.
Connor Oberst?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does sound fake. It's not real. He made that up. This is a stage name. We talked about it briefly, I think. What do you think?
Even more surprised than I thought I was going to be.
During the show or like a post-reflection?
During the show.
During the show.
I was so into it during the show.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I loved it.
The room was so dead. Like, I couldn't tell if people are into it or like...
Maybe
I thought
you just have an awkward fan base.
Maybe. The stage show was really cool. Like, they had that cool neon community center in the background. And they have the whole, like cult-ish shtick to that album.
Yeah.
And I think they did that very well, and I expected people to be more into it, which is kind of why, like, at the time, like, they were very good live.
Yeah.
Like, nothing can complain there. But, like, at the time, I was like, it was pretty good. But
I would say part of the crowd, and we wouldn't know because we showed up 5 minutes before they went
True.
on. But the fact that they had been standing around probably for 3 hours already,
that's
and Better
probably
Oblivion
true.
didn't go on until 10 o'clock.
It didn't play for very long either.
Yeah, they played for about an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But I think the live show just brought so much more dynamic and depth to their album, and it just had so much more energy. And the softer parts were, even, I don't know, there's just a bunch of good dynamic between the soft parts, the loud parts, and when they went heavy and loud, like, I haven't seen Phoebe. I've seen Phoebe a few times. Like, haven't seen her go all like that all out.
Yeah, for sure.
And any other show that she's done.
Yeah,
Connor Burst, I hadn't even seen before, but I can only imagine his Bright Eyes stuff and solo stuff is a little bit more folky and like
he was super into it.
He was so into it.
Stage presence was awesome. And
well, that's what I was going to ask you because I'm only familiar with Phoebe Bridgers, but would you characterize that style as high energy? Like,
no, not typically.
No.
Not typically.
And that's partially why, like, I wasn't sure, like, before this show if that album was going to be on my end of the year list, and like for sure it will be at the end of the year, just because of how much like energy they put into those songs and like how much they sold them, even the slower ones. Like,
exactly.
I think that's why I struggled with that album because a lot of it is quiet and slow, and that's just not usually my thing. But they fucking sold it. And you made a good point about Phoebe. Like, I've only seen her once before, and she opened for Ryan Adams. And little did we know that at the time she was going through some shit with Ryan Adams, and like really conflicted with opening for him, and like thinking back on it, like it totally showed. Like she was kind of lifeless, and granted, it was only her on stage, and like nobody was really respectful when we saw her, but like she was having so much fun and like really into it. So,
and she leads that band.
Oh,
like you would think Connor having the name that he does and the weight that he carries, like he is by far a second piece in that band. It is Phoebe's band.
Yeah,
and it's nice when a talent like that doesn't have an ego and can kind of just let the dynamic be.
That
what
was
it is.
cool.
Right.
Like, props to him for letting her take on the show, because she was the one that talked between songs and she was the one that fronted vocals, and he was really just a complimentary part.
For sure. This next one, no fucking surprise. But honestly, I'm surprised that it took you 4 months to see them. We need to start the countdown now. This is number 1. Billy saw the Midnight in Baltimore.
I did.
Now the real question is, will we see you see the Midnight in Baltimore again? I'm gonna say it's gonna be in DC 2 or 3 more times, and then a foreign city at least once.
This year?
Yes.
Wow.
And
Really?
By foreign city, I mean outside of the DMV area.
That's fair. That's fair.
I think that'll come
Yeah, I don't know. Like maybe in a festival setting. I don't know what my year's
True.
going to pan out to be. Like,
Well, that's what you saw
possibly.
him last time, right?
Yeah,
He went to a
exactly.
festival, so
What we do know is he won't be wearing a bandana.
And it also depends maybe if they put out
giving
new
up the
stuff.
bandana life. Yeah, that's true.
I think
That's
this show was even teetering on, I've already seen them like 3 times this year. Do I need to see them again? They haven't really released anything new.
Right.
Was
it good, though?
It was good.
Was it the best you've seen them?
It was the worst I've seen them.
Really?
Yes.
Really? He's probably fucking tired from playing for you.
Well,
5
it's a
times
mix
year.
of venue. Sound wasn't spectacular. They were
Okay.
getting a lot of weird feedback with the sax, which was kind of like it took them a while to get that on.
Sure.
The sax player they brought with this tour was probably the weakest one I've seen them with.
Oh, I didn't know it was a rotator. I thought they just
Yeah,
kept
the
same guy.
original guy who does like the albums and stuff like that is
Yeah.
incredible. He's so good live.
He's busy working with everybody else.
Yeah,
Yeah,
probably. The guy they brought last time was the guy that was the session musician for Anderson .Paak.
Right.
So he's
Yeah,
super
of course
good
he's
too.
Incredible, yeah.
This guy wasn't as good.
Sure.
Which is, one
Understandable.
of the huge parts of their live set.
Right.
Because what Tyler and Tim do, it's always good.
Sure.
So, yeah, I mean, I think, and it was like they were clearly excited to be there. It was like a almost sold out show, which I was surprised about. They were having a lot of fun. The crowd was having a lot of fun. I think just knowing how good they can be
Sure.
live, they didn't quite live up to that.
Okay. Good to know. I was surprised. Usually I think the last year when you talked about them, it was like every time that you saw them, it was like
It was getting progressively
incrementally
yeah,
better.
it was,
and,
exactly.
So that is disappointing to you.
Yeah.
But it's good to know that it like wasn't really their fault. Like it wasn't like they put on a bad show.
No,
It was just-
yeah.
I'm with you. And up next we have our singles. First on this list, Miss No Name coming through again. Last year put out an amazing record. Definitely should check out. This song is called Song 32, and I'm already a fan, but I want to know what you guys thought.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah?
I hope she blows up this year.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
Me
this
too.
song is super solid, and I think she'll have a huge year. She was peaking last year, and I think she's going to continue that rise this year. This is a
Yeah,
good,
I hope she
good
gets some
track.
more like mainstream appeal. Like
Yeah.
it's totally like
She will.
that.
I think
I
she
don't
will.
understand why anyone would dislike that style.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, her verse is really nice. The flow is kind of different.
Mhm.
Nothing you haven't seen ever before, but
Yeah.
really clean. And then the track itself, all the live instrumentation's really good.
Yeah, and it's not your like typical, bland jazz rap. It's definitely that live instrumentation that makes it amazing.
Yeah, and the imagery in her verses is cool too.
Yes.
All kinds of references, but just really good.
This next track, I kind of hate, but also kind of really adore.
You love it.
I kind of really love it. It is Taking the World by Storm. If you haven't heard it before, I'm not sure what rock you live under. It's Lil Nas X, Old Town Road, featuring Billy Ray Cyrus. It is incredibly terrible. That lyrics don't mean anything. If you could try to sell it 3 ways to Sunday, it doesn't mean anything.
I'm gonna sign to this mic until it clips.
It fucking bangs.
What are you
It's
doing?
so good. It's so good.
But like, can you qualify that it's terrible, but you love it?
What do you mean? Oh, like why it's terrible?
Well, no, like what? Those two things are opposing each other.
Sure,
So,
sure. Like,
and it's not that I haven't experienced the same thing, but
sure, the budding like critic in me that wants to overthink about every piece of music and really dissect why I dislike something is like, no, this is objectively bad. The lyrics don't make sense. The beat is boring. The song is repetitive. That it's not even done very well. But the pop music lover in me, the brain that's been taught since I was like 5 to enjoy pop music, it's just like, let's put this song on repeat for like 3 hours because it's so catchy. It is so stupid catchy.
I kind of hope he has more hits, just because
I'm
he
very
could be
curious.
the one hittiest of wonders there's ever been.
I think that will be true. I doubt we'll be hearing of Lil Nas X in 3 years, but who knows?
We probably could talk about the background on that a little bit, because it's the whole thing was that it was on the Billboard Top 100 for country tracks.
Yes,
and then Billboard said, no, that's not real country.
Yes, which is, I maybe can understand the initial song, maybe, because like it's not. I wouldn't classify it as country myself. It is country influenced.
Right, it's country adjacent.
Yeah. But I also, like, music charts are fucking stupid, so what does it matter?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I just like, the fact that in this day and age, it was pushed to this level by DJs for country stations just deciding that, hey, we're going to rip this from YouTube and play it.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's
good for that guy.
It's a cool story, for sure. Up next, we have Courtney Barnett, Everybody Here Hates You. I think it's a solid Courtney Barnett track. I don't know that there's much to say other than that.
She puts out the same song every 2 weeks.
Whoa, hey, come on.
Why are we still talking about her?
So
it's really good. It's a really good sound, though.
So I like her sound. Billy's a hater. I do have to agree at least a little bit. I am surprised she's coming out. Granted, she's a musician. She's gonna write whenever she wants, how often she wants, whatever. I think I wish she would wait a little bit longer, and that's why I was super stoked for her album last year, is because I thought she was gonna make a stylistic change and at least be a little different.
Nope.
She did a little bit. It wasn't great though. I think that's the problem, is that she did try new things. I don't think it went over very well.
Okay.
So, but yes, I wish she would come out with something wildly different. But I'm also okay listening to this Courtney Barnett forever. So,
I guess I feel like when an artist establishes himself, people say things like, "Oh, we want him to try something new," but then nobody ever takes to it.
Yeah, that's true. Speaking of trying things that are new, fucking King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. Constantly changing, constantly astonishing. This new track, Planet B, is fucking awesome. Holy shit. I could not stop beaming while listening to this track, because I knew people were like, this is not what I expected at all, even for King Giz, who kind of changes at a whim, but like...
Yeah, I mean, we're used to desert prog rock.
Yes.
This sounds like the OC's light.
Yes. It's like rad kind of metal, and it was cool. Billy, you're not a huge fan.
I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm sorry.
You sound like an old man.
Sorry.
I don't get it.
I don't understand. I just.
Oh man. Meanwhile, me and Paul gonna be stoked for whatever they release. They have a new album coming out next week, but this track is not on it. So we'll see if they do 5 albums this year or what. Up next, something Billy does care about.
Something I like.
Kaytranada.
The song is so good.
Have we decided if it's Kaytranada or Kaytranada?
It's Kaytranada.
Kaytranada,
Mm-hmm.
okay. Dysfunctional, featuring VanJess, I believe. Excellent.
It's really good.
Excellent house track. It is house, yes?
Yes,
You would
because
classify it as
Kaytranada is
house?
just so good at so many different genres,
True.
like hip hop and different stuff. But this is, I would say, straight up pretty much.
And I think he's like... The problem with your new release this week for me is like when I think about artists like Kaytranada and then I listen to your new release, I'm like, I don't get it. Like the people like Kaytranada like are just pushing the genre and doing interesting things and making super funky, crazy, interesting music. And I think he's incredible. Like I can't wait to see what he does next.
I'm gonna have to fight you back on that one later.
Okay.
I'll pull any punches this week.
No? Okay. Up next, we have Open Mike Eagle and Danny Brown, a track called Unfiltered, which is kind of a comedy sketch, kind of not really.
I don't know.
I mean, it'd be dope even without the video.
I liked the song a lot.
It's good and hilarious.
Yes. It's kind of gimmicky, but like I'm really into like Mike playing the straight face and like Danny Brown playing the unfiltered raw version of yourself, like coming out and like fucking shit up, and it's a great track.
Has he ever had a bad feature?
Dude, I don't think so. Like he's been on such a roll, and like I really can't see. I can't wait to see what he does.
Maybe it even helps because he has kind of a nasally timbre to his voice.
True. He's so
which
unique.
I don't mind because his verses are so genius. Yeah. But I imagine for somebody he's easier to take in doses.
Right. Up next, Nails. We have Mr. Nails. Not Mr. It's a band, but anyway.
Mr. Manager.
Song is I Don't Want to Know You. It's a single that they put out recently. Apparently I'm the only fan of it.
No, it's not your only fan of it. You're just the only one that thought it was special.
Yes.
Fair enough.
Yes.
Fair enough.
Exactly. Okay. It's not bad.
Okay.
Solid.
I guess I don't listen to enough of that music, but I like it. It makes me feel strong inside. So
that's what metal's supposed to do.
Yeah,
it's for when you're,
it's really nice
taking villages.
But that track is no banger compared to this next track. Tycho, new track, Easy. So good.
It's so good.
Is that the Kaleidoscope video?
Yes.
Oh man, that track is good.
Yeah, it was so good. I have been really hoping that he would kind of evolve just a tad, just a little bit, because I like his kind of chill, up-tempo kind of style. But this with the live drums and it's got such a groove to it that I really enjoyed. Cool. So yeah, and Mr. Paul gave us this next track. You wanna introduce it?
Yeah. So I have a soft spot in my heart for JJ Cale. He passed away back in 2013, but posthumous track was released. It's got a weird kind of lo-fi sound of the vocals, but the instrumentation's really nice.
I like the guitars a lot.
It definitely has kind of a country lilt to it because they use pedal steels.
I like the chord progression a lot, and it's got that enough of that like suspended kind of like open feel to it that I really enjoyed.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, the fact that it is a posthumous track and it happens to be a song called "Stay Around." I mean, I don't think that was his intention when he wrote it, but it's just a nice little track. It's nothing mind-blowing, but it's really pleasant. Definitely something I'd listen to on a drive. And I kind of felt like I wanted to highlight it because a lot of people don't know JJ Cale. He really stayed out of the limelight. He didn't really want to be famous. And I imagine a lot of people know songs he wrote, but they don't realize he wrote them.
Right.
Because so the Clapton tracks, After Midnight and Cocaine, were both JJ Cale songs. And if you're a Leonard Skinner fan, Call Me the Breeze was a JJ Cale song. So
that's a good song.
I recommend it. Yeah. Check it out. It's probably the last thing we'll hear from him ever. So
yeah, it's. I think it's definitely worth a looky loo. We have Miss Aldous Harding, The Barrel. Very, very weird video, but I really enjoyed it. I think the video, like the track itself, I think is very good. Reminds me of a little Andrew Bird. You guys getting Andrew Bird?
Yeah, you'd mentioned that. I think part of that is like one of the main hooks is an nylon string guitar.
Yeah. And I think her style is just like super classy and like just some like not overly complex, instrumentation, like some piano notes here and there that I think just really make the track pop. And you guys like the male vocal
There's
harmonies.
like a lot of cool, like subtle, well-mixed harmonies in there between the male vocal and her like higher octave, weird.
Yeah, and I can't put my finger on why it sounds so different to me. It just seems like there's somehow more distance between the male vocal harmony and the female part.
Yeah.
It's just it has a really open sound.
Yes.
But cool little track. It really develops a lot.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely.
It starts off as something that seems a lot more simplistic.
Yeah, that like you said, around that like 3-minute mark, they had some instrumentation that's really cool. We have Holy Ghost! ! Escape from Los Angeles. Mr. Billy, you brought this track to the table. You want to tell us a little bit about it?
Just a solid new synth pop track from them. They're a band that I've liked for a long time, and they just do the like analog synth pop really well. And they've released a few singles this year that have all been really good. So if you like kind of just that upbeat, fun kind of disco synth pop,
is it always like this danceable?
It's always has like an element of that like dancey house type sound, but it's just, I don't know, it's really good.
Yeah, I'm looking. This track made me. I'm looking forward to listening to their.
Yeah, listen to some of their newer singles too.
Okay,
they're all a little different, but they're all good.
Will do. And speaking of things that Billy is excited for,
yeah,
As I Lay Dying.
Yeah, this track is sweet. Their new single "Redefined" is awesome.
I think it's really tight. I think it's what I expected from them for sure, but I think it's I think you pointed out, you made a really good point in that it feels like they have purpose.
Yes.
Like it feels like they're excited to be back and they have energy. And I know when you saw them, you said this very much the same about them live.
Yeah, exactly. This song is again just between this and the other single they released upon coming back. I mean, it's some of their best work yet, I think. And if they keep putting out stuff like this,
yeah, good melodic, clean vocals and
course.
Really tight electric guitars and really riffy and even a short little guitar solo in there.
Yeah.
So it was good. Very good. Jump into shout outs real quick. Billy and I watched the Guava Island movie episode thing, Childish Gambino. I think it's cool.
Do you?
Yeah. Do you not like
Just
it?
because it's Donald Glover?
No. Like legitimately. I mean, actually, mostly because it feels like an episode of Atlanta. Let me say this: it feels like an episode of Atlanta without the intensity, the weirdness, the intense weirdness. It's not as funny.
It's definitely not funny.
And I don't think it's.
Sorry.
I think it's shot very well, and I think the story doesn't really make a whole lot of sense.
Nope.
I think it's a cute wrapper for a bunch of his music,
but it's not even new music. It was just the 3 singles he released last year.
Yeah, it was like 3 or 4, I think.
I mean,
yeah, there wasn't. Yeah, I wish there was more music in it.
He tried to make an hour-long film that incorporated his 3 songs from last year and make it work into some short
It was
film
like
that
a
doesn't
across
make
the
any
universe
sense.
kind of.
Across the universe sucks.
That's why a lot of people think Across the Universe sucks. But what I'm saying is, I like the music presentation in it a lot. I think it's shot very well. I think it's a cute little thing. I don't think it's worth money. I wouldn't pay money to watch it.
Absolutely not.
I think it's a cute little. It's a 55-minute little movie.
Is it possible it was made last year and they had intended to release it?
Maybe. I think so. He probably had recorded the music and knowing full well that he was going to do this movie. Because they do work in This Is America into it, and I think it works well within the setting.
That part of it is cool, but he also works in those 2 singles, those 2 summertime singles that he released last year. Completely different vibes.
Yes.
It just didn't work.
I liked them more in the context of the movie.
That's fair.
Rather, not the
That's
context
fair.
of the movie, but for whatever reason, watching them on screen, I liked them more.
Right, because I think the main critique before was it was just boring.
Yeah, and it's also like they do doctor the tracks a little bit. Like This Is America is a little different.
Yeah, no, it's a different instrumentation.
Yeah, so I think it's worth a watch if you're a fan. I wouldn't go out of my way to watch it, especially if you don't like his music. But I think it's cool. I think it's a neat little thing. Apparently, I'm the only one.
I was disappointed because
you and the rest of the internet.
Really? I haven't looked up anything on it.
Most people don't really like it.
Okay.
Everyone is consensus on it's a really cool Childish Gambino music video. It's a terrible movie.
Yeah,
which
it just is disappointing me because Atlanta is so good.
Oh yeah, for
So
sure.
I think I didn't miss much.
The main reason I was mostly disappointed is because I was hoping for this kind of larger artistic statement and a cooler message while also being weird and funny like Atlanta is, but it did not reach.
No.
It didn't reach the heights of Atlanta for sure.
Nope.
Speaking of not reaching the heights.
Oh, rude. Going right into my new release.
New releases.
Unlike the internet, who thinks
Billy.
this is the best electronic album in
Really?
a long time. Oh my
I thought
god.
he was picking on the group, the internet.
Yes.
I don't get it. Billy.
What don't you like about
I
it?
don't get it. It's new releases. Billy, do you want to tell us what's
All
going
right.
on?
Jesus. I thought I
I
was
don't
a hater.
hate it. I don't hate it. I really
Really?
don't. I really
All right.
don't.
My
I'm
new
dying
release
from suspense. What are we talking about?
is Jai Wolf.
It is Jai Wolf.
It is, yeah,
not
I think,
Jay
right?
Wolf.
Oh, Jesus.
Do you
I
say
don't
Michael
know.
J. White?
I honestly don't know.
I don't know these things.
I think I've always thought it was Jai.
I think it's Jai Wolf.
because I got him confused with Jai Paul, and I'm pretty sure it's Jai Paul. So I think it's Jai because it's Jai, not Jay. So let's go with Jai Wolf.
Jai Wolf, The Cure to Loneliness. I had never really followed him before. I just kind of assumed he was just your mainstream EDM producer, DJ, that he didn't really have anything that set him apart. Never really followed him that closely, didn't listen to a whole lot of his stuff. Saw this album pop up and decided to give it a try, and was pleasantly surprised at his ability to blend genres, and he's just so multi-dimensional with his production. He uses elements of like basic festival EDM, but matches it with like indie dance and like even shoegaze and synth pop.
I think he does do that. That was the one thing that I did note.
Oh, so he was made in a lab for you.
Yeah, pretty much. His features are daywave, like just like dream pop, like shoegaze king.
Of course.
Now.
Oh,
is
really?
Is a feature on there.
I did not see that. Okay.
So he but then there's also elements of just your basic EDM, and it's more subtle. It's not like your festival banger EDM,
right?
But like,
yeah, it's because I knew this was electronic because I like looked him up before I had listened to it. And then I heard the opening track. I was like, this is just fucking indie rock.
Yeah, exactly.
This is,
and there's
like,
a few tracks that are just indie
like
rock.
The bass production is just very indie, and it's not like there's a drop or anything. Like
no,
it's
his songwriting is really good.
Yeah, I just thought it was boring.
You thought it was boring?
I'm sorry.
Why?
I listened to the whole thing and I can't tell you a goddamn thing about it. I liked that first track.
The first track's really
and
good.
I don't remember anything else.
The first track and the Daywave track are probably my favorites. Those are Lose My Mind and Your Way. I also like Still Sleeping. That's got a little bit more of the mainstream EDM sound and vocal.
Sure.
But it's a solid pop track.
Yeah. I must say, like, I'm surprised this isn't on the radio yet. Because it just came out, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm honestly surprised this is on the radio.
From what
like,
I understand, people
hits-
lost their mind over it.
Really?
Like, people really like
that
it.
is
It's his
interesting to
debut
me.
album, so I think people have
Yeah.
been waiting for a long time. He's, like, done some remixes like Skrillex and some bigger name producers, but this is his debut. And I really thought it was cool how he blended that kind of, like, indie rock sound with EDM.
Sure.
And wasn't expecting it at all. Yeah. It was really cool. So, like, related artists, Odeza, Big Wild, and Sun Holo. Kind of similar sounds.
Our boy San Holo.
Yeah, if you could throw him in, since he's got a little bit of the same, EDM meets
Yes. Yeah.
Covet.
He's got
Guitar
yeah,
soloist
right.
extraordinaire, Sun Holo.
Shoegazy kind of, yeah. So my new release this week is new Anderson .Paak album, Ventura. It is, if you like Anderson .Paak, boy, do I have an album for you.
Cool.
This is a fantastic review.
It is.
If you like this artist,
So
you should listen to it.
after listening to Oxnard a lot last year, and I came away from it not really liking it all that much. It didn't gel with me all the way, but listening to this, I do realize a lot of the merits that Oxnard has that this album doesn't, because I think Oxnard really stood out. He did a lot of different things. I thought the production was like really top notch and really kind of funky and really tight. And this is kind of, the production is still really good, but it's a little more washed and a little more smooth R&B and like really funky and like akin to his older stuff before Oxnard.
You don't like more skits?
No, I do not like skits.
I'm excited to check it out because I liked Anderson .Paak a lot, and I didn't like Oxnard all that much.
Okay. I think you'll really like this record.
I'm excited
it's
to
a
listen to
really,
it more.
really, really good summer record. The opening track has an amazing Andre 3000 verse on it.
Oh, cool.
And just like front to back, really, really good hooks. I think he went into this album with more of a pop mindset, whereas Oxnard was kind of his, like, yes, not as grand or as amazing as To Pimp a Butterfly, but I think it's very akin to, I think of his and his discography. I think of that's his, like, funk Odyssey. Odyssey is a heavy word, but like I think he experimented a little bit more and did some different things that are more West Coast, and this is very his style.
No, I haven't listened to this closely, but was it rushed? Why did he put this out so closely to Oxnard?
No idea. So
why not wait till the summer? Or wait a few more months to.
Yeah.
I mean, does it feel rushed? Like, is the production lacking at all, or the
I don't think
songwriting
so.
lacking at all?
Like, it still feels like it's a big budget album.
Okay.
Like, he still feels like he had the time to write this. And I read a little bit about both records. And what I did know is that people openly hated Oxnard apparently because, quote unquote, they felt that he lost his identity on that record.
That's fair.
Which listening to this record and listening to Oxnard, it totally feels not like him. Oxnard doesn't. But I think I appreciate it more because it was so different. And I don't know. I mean, maybe he just felt like he had more to say while in the studio for Oxnard and was like, I'm going to do one for me and kind of do something different and original. And then I want to do one for the fans. So I don't know. He's a beast, man. And maybe he's just got the chops. I don't know. I can't see him doing another record for quite a while. At least I hope not. Because I don't know that I want to hear anything else from him right now. But Ventura is definitely very good.
Okay.
Favorite tracks: Come Home, featuring Andre 3000, of course. King James, which is about LeBron James, of course. And What Can We Do, featuring Nate Dogg. And related artists, Steve Lacy, Kaytranada, and Rhapsody. And now it's time for my favorite part of the week. And what is soon to be your favorite part of the week. Album of the week. These are the best albums. Hands down. No questions asked. And Mr. Billy.
I have some questions.
Yeah, what are your questions?
No, I don't really have questions.
Actually, can we save your album?
Yeah.
I think we all... Actually, Paul, have you listened to Billy's album?
Nope.
Okay.
But I normally do.
I think you'll like it, just based on who it is. But I just want to run through my album real quick and then we'll talk about yours. So I picked A Violence by Town Portal. Town Portal is a British progressive metal, progressive rock, math rock band. They have hands down my favorite guitar tone. It's just super fuzzy and muscular, and they write think of Mastodon, but if you took the vocals away. It's very similar. The drumming is not as blast beat or as that kind of crazy, but I think they do grooves really, really well. And I think their songwriting is really interesting because they do a lot of things that your ears wouldn't expect. I don't know what he's doing or what style he's writing in, but he just always goes a totally different direction than what your ear would expect. And it's not grating and it's not forced. It feels very natural. It's just very slinky, and he kind of slithers up and down the fingerboard and just writes really interesting riffs. Production is really, really cool. Super tight 3-piece. You can hear bass drums and guitar on every track. And you can always hear them even when they're in tandem with each other. So just really neat math rock record. If you're into that sort of thing, I don't think it's as fluid or as delicate as, say, a Covet is. I think it's definitely got more of an edge to it. But if you're into that sort of thing, you're looking for something heavier that doesn't require a ton of lyrical focus, I think this record will be for you. And finally, Mr. Billy.
Yeah.
Surprises. Tell us what you got.
No surprises here.
Actually, I was kind of surprised that you enjoyed it as much as you did.
Okay, that's fair.
I think. But anyway.
My album of the week is Glenn Hansard, This Willing Wild. Jesus.
This Wild Willing.
Yeah.
You had it right.
Wait, him liking Glenn Hansard is surprising. Why?
No, not that. Because to be fair, we did talk about Between Two Shores last year.
Yeah.
And I don't think any of us were really blown away by it.
No, yeah.
Maybe because it was a B-sides album or maybe throwaways, I don't know. But this record is very different, I think, for him. And that's why I was surprised.
He went into the studio intending to write another one of those albums because his kind of calling lately has been this kind of happy kind of happy poppy folk.
Yeah.
And it's not my favorite Glenn Hansard.
Sure.
But he went into a Paris studio with some brothers from Iran and just started trying to work out some of the tracks that he had started writing, and decided to go a completely different direction and revisited that darker sound that he really did so well in the beginning with the frames, and then into like early swell season stuff, and revisited that, and man, it comes across so well on this new album.
Absolutely.
And it's an album full of it. Like his solo stuff since Once, basically, there might have been a track or two that were like softer, more dark, haunting songs. This album is full of dark, slow, really building songs. And there's, I think, one happy track on it.
Yeah, and it's like the back half of the record, I think is like a little shorter, a little more accessible. And I think it's got that. I don't remember what did you pick it as one of your favorite? Is it Good
Which
Life
one?
Song?
Which one?
No, Brothers Keeper is the one that I'm thinking of. It's the happier, kind of more upbeat one.
Yes.
But everything else is just
else. Yeah, and it could go either way on whether you like it or not. But for me, his like kind of whispering, soft like vocals, just it's awesome.
Race to the Bottom.
Yes,
is like one of my favorites on here, and he's like barely audible sometimes, and just like, but super cool, like banjo and like guitar in the background.
Yeah, so I think just that collaboration with the brothers from Iran like really add a lot of like cool Eastern sounds and like arrangements.
Yeah, definitely.
That really add a cool layer and element to it that's not typical in what you would hear in folk and Americana music, and it's done really, really well. And so, like a few of the tracks crescendo, like what you would hear on his old Frames albums, where it starts out so soft and quiet, and then just out of nowhere crescendos into this big, loud, fuzzy, over distorted ending.
I remember I forgot to write down the opener, whatever the opener.
I'll be you, be me.
Yeah, I'll be you, be me. It has that like awesome crescendo at the end where it just degrades into noise, and he's like yelling into the microphone. Oh, it's so good.
So good.
I think honestly, like, granted, like Between Two Shores, obviously B-sides or whatever it was.
Right.
I think like this might be some of my favorite songwriting of his.
Yes.
If only just recently, but I think possibly ever.
It's his best work really since Once. Record. It's his best solo album.
I think so.
It's his best work since Once for sure. And if you like the Frames, it's a solid revisit to that kind of sound. Especially specifically like For the Birds. Like that album is exactly where this kind of comes after.
Absolutely.
I'm now sold.
It's really good.
Definitely check it out.
So my favorite tracks were Fool's Game, Good Life of Song, and Don't Settle.
Perfect.
Related artists were Damien Rice, Van Morrison, and of course the Frames.
Nice. I forgot to do favorite tracks for Town Portal, just real quick. Arch Wright, Rocco's Basilisk, and Better Angels. Related artists Mastodon, the Physics House Band, and Sleep. And if you're curious about the singles and albums we talked about today, there will be a playlist up on the site. That's bliss.house, bliss.haus, containing all the singles and best tracks from this week's albums. Definitely check out our website. We got some cool content from Album of the Year up there. Really good episode last week where we caught up on everything that we missed. And check us out on all the places, YouTube, Facebook, yada, yada, yada. Like, subscribe, leave good comments, be happy. Be happy with yourself, Visit bliss.house, of course, bliss.haus for all of our content. And thanks, everybody.
I'm glad to be back on a regular schedule. I missed you guys.
Woo! Missed you too.